All right, let's do something amazing. We're going to travel back in time. The year is 1969, and we are about to witness one of the most incredible things humanity has ever done. We'll relive the Apollo 11 moon landing, and here's the best part. We'll learn some fantastic English vocabulary and phrases that came directly from this historic event. Ready? Let's go.
Okay, I want you to just think about this number for a second. 650 million. That's not just a statistic. That's how many people all over the world were literally glued to their TVs, holding their breath, watching this happen live. I mean, can you even imagine? It was maybe the first time the entire planet shared a single moment of wonder and incredible suspense. So how did we even get here? Well, this whole thing didn't just happen overnight. It all started with a challenge, a truly massive, seemingly impossible challenge, laid down years before by President John F. Kennedy. You have to remember, this was the peak of the Cold War. The space race was in full swing. Kennedy basically drew a line in the sand and said, "We're doing this." And that one speech, it lit a fire under an entire nation's best minds.
All right, so let's dive into the mission itself. One giant leap for mankind. This was a quest on a scale that's just hard to comprehend, with the hopes of the whole world riding on the shoulders of just a few people. And here are the three men at the heart of it all. You had Mission Commander Neil Armstrong, who would become the first human to walk on the moon, then Lunar Module pilot Buzz Aldrin, who'd be right behind him, and you can't forget Michael Collins, the command module pilot. His job was just as crucial. He had to orbit the moon all by himself, basically holding his breath, waiting for them to come back. So the whole thing was an epic 8-day journey into history. It all starts on July 16th with a thundering liftoff from Florida. Can you imagine the sound? 4 days later, the real nail-biter begins. The lunar module, the Eagle, separates and starts its descent to the moon. Then on the 21st, history is made with those first steps. And it all wraps up on July 24th with a safe splashdown in the Pacific. Just an unbelievable display of precision. Okay, but now we have to talk about the most heart-stopping part of the whole mission, the landing. The Eagle has landed. This was it. The moment where everything was on the line. They were literally seconds from disaster, but also just moments away from making history. Imagine this. They're coming down, getting closer and closer to the surface, and suddenly, alarms start blaring. A 1201 alarm. What does that mean? It means the guidance computer, the brain of the whole operation, is overloaded. It's screaming for help. For a few terrifying seconds, everyone thought they'd have to abort the landing. Mission Control had to make a split-second call, and they said, "Go." And as if an overloaded computer wasn't bad enough, another crisis hits. The fuel. They're burning through it way too fast. Back in Houston, and inside that tiny lander, they all knew it. They had less than 30 seconds of fuel left to land. 30 seconds. The margin for error, it wasn't just small, it was basically non-existent. And this is where human skill just takes over. The computer, even before it was overloaded, was taking them straight towards a crater filled with massive boulders. A terrible place to land. So Neil Armstrong does the only thing he can. He takes manual control. He's now flying this thing himself, scanning the surface for a safe spot, with that 30-second fuel clock just ticking, ticking, ticking away. And then, through all the static, all the tension, came these words. Armstrong's voice, unbelievably calm, just cuts through it all. "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." And with that one sentence, 650 million people let out a breath they didn't even know they were holding. They did it. They were on the moon. You know, to really understand what an achievement this was, think about this. That Apollo computer, the one that got them all the way there, it had less processing power than the smartphone you're probably holding right now. It's just mind-blowing. It really shows you the sheer brilliance and bravery involved. So a few hours after that incredible landing, Armstrong climbed down the ladder, and as his foot touched the dust of the moon, he said these words that would be remembered forever. "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Just a perfectly simple sentence that somehow captured the weight of everything that had just happened. You know, what's so cool is that Apollo 11 didn't just change history, it actually changed the way we speak. Its legacy is woven right into our language. So now let's explore some of that language of space and see how this one mission influenced the English we use today. Okay, let's grab some vocabulary right from the mission. First up, liftoff. That's that incredible moment the rocket leaves the ground. Boom, liftoff. Next, a more technical word, telemetry. Try saying it with me. Telemetry. Telemetry. That's just all the data that the spacecraft sends back to Earth. Super important stuff. Then you have splashdown. That's a specific word for when a spacecraft lands in the ocean. And finally, quarantine. After they got back, the astronauts had to go into quarantine, which is a period of isolation to make sure they didn't bring back any space germs. Of course, Armstrong's famous words gave us this amazing expression, a giant leap. We use it all the time now to talk about any huge, important achievement. It's not just a small step, it's a massive breakthrough. For example, you could say that learning English is a giant leap for your career. It really opens up new worlds, right? And the mission story gives us a couple more great expressions. The first one is taking things one small step at a time. Just think about it. Getting to the moon didn't happen in one go. It was millions of small, careful actions. It's the same with learning a language, right? You do it one small step at a time. The other one is against all odds. I mean, with the computer alarms, the low fuel, they succeeded against all odds. It means you managed to do something even though there were tons of problems or difficulties in your way. Now, all of this might feel like ancient history. But what if I told you that you could relive the entire mission today, not just reading about it, but experiencing it in real time? So, how can you actually feel that heart-pounding tension of the landing or that pure joy of the first step? Well, believe it or not, there's a really cool way to do exactly that. It's this incredible project called Apollo in Real Time. It's a website where they took everything from the mission, thousands of hours of audio from mission control, all the video, all the photos, and synced it all up to the actual mission clock. You can literally follow along moment by moment for the entire 8 days as if you're right there. It is absolutely wild. So, after all is said and done, what is the legacy of Apollo? What did it all mean? Well, as you can imagine, it's about a lot more than just some footprints left in the dust. First off, it proved that we could do it, that humans could actually travel to another world and come back home. They also left a plaque that read, "We came in peace for all mankind," a message for everyone. And really, this mission paved the way for everything that came next. The space shuttle, the International Space Station, and it's the reason we're now seriously talking about sending people to Mars. When you boil it all down, the moon landing is this incredible reminder that when people work together with courage and focus, the impossible can become possible. And today, we didn't just relive that story, we learned some great English from it. We learned how taking one small step at a time can help you achieve a giant leap, even against all odds. So it leaves us all with a pretty big question, doesn't it? What should be humanity's next giant leap?